Today I'm going to show you a video of a demo on a back service. Alright, I'm going to start by taking a towel and then just tucking it in to the shorts so we don't get any sugar anywhere. Next I'm going to cleanse the skin with rubbing alcohol. Since this hair is a little bit longer, I'm going to go ahead and use some trimmers with a guard on it to trim the hair down before starting that service. Once you're done, at the end of your service, you'll want to take the trimmers apart and clean the inside and the blade, and you'll put these in the barbicide and use a spray disinfectant to clean the inside of here, brush out all the hair, and then sanitize the outside with a sanitizer. Next, I'm going to apply the drying powder, and the powder will help get any hair that's stuck to the skin off of the skin, and also acts as a drying agent to keep the skin dry during the service. So next I'm going to go in with my ball of sugar. I like to start in the area that has the least amount of hair to kind of get the client used to what the sensation will be like, and then also to kind of create a bare spot for me to work from as I move into the thicker areas. I'm just going to place my ball down, create a paddle, and slowly roll that ball of sugar out. On the back, you work your way to the middle of the sides. So nice even pressure as we apply the sugar, letting the hairs tangle up into the sugar. At the end of my strip, pull the skin tight, press, drag, and flick hard. It's going to ribbon back on itself. Same thing. Press, drag past, flick hard. Apply that pressure after. So overlapping just a little bit with our last section, letting the ball roll out, coming back in and thinning out that sugar, and tangling the hair into the sugar. Checking on your client. You doing okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And then going over it again just to make sure the hair is tangled up into the sugar really good. At the end of our strip, we're pulling tight, pulling past, flicking hard, letting it ribbon back on itself. Same thing, press, drag past, flick hard, all the way through the end. Applying pressure to take out a little bit of the sting. You have to watch the direction of the hair growth because it will change throughout this service. So you'll want to keep that in mind when applying your strips. You always like to finish your strip where there's no hair, so when you pull past, you're not tangling up into hair. Excuse me. So I'm going to pull past this way a little bit and flick hard. Come back across, drag, flick fast. Good. Just going to work my way down to about the middle of the side. Drag past, flick hard. And that, again, is totally normal. I think I showed you in one of the other videos that will happen sometimes just from the force of your flick. So I'm going to come back down here and work in some of this thinner section before getting up to this thicker section which may require new sugaring paste. I like to get fresh sugaring paste in areas that have very strong hair. It just tends to get the hair out so much cleaner and easier. Nice, smooth, even pressure all the way through. Using my ball to press and drive past. Flick hard, let it ribbon. Same thing. And just continue working down through each section, overlapping just a little bit so that you don't have a slice or a section that gets left out in between your strips of sugar paste. Pull past, flick hard, drag, flick. Letting it sink in right before the flick is gonna make your flicks really productive and make it so that you don't have breakage in between, or I'm sorry, whenever you do your pulls. So you wanna make sure you are pulling past and letting the sugar sink in. That's where you get a nice clean pull. Sinking, pushing down before that flick. So the direction changes a little bit here. I'm just gonna add a little bit of drying powder and then change my directions to go with the direction of hair growth. It's normal for this area to be a little fuller on backs as well as this area. Those are the two fuller areas on this service. So make sure you get it tangled in well and that your flicks are really, really strong. Pressing at the end, flicking hard, fixing my ball, pressing, flicking hard, and one more. And I'm just going back in and picking up the few little stragglers that may be left behind so I don't have too many to tweeze once we get to that step. It's already looking really good. I'm gonna go ahead and work up the middle since that direction's a little bit different from the sides here that grow inward. It's totally normal to see hair grow in towards the center of the body. You'll see that everywhere from stomach to back to the back of legs. It always grows towards the center of the body. Awesome. And my sugar is starting to get to a consistency that is not desirable anymore. It's getting really full of hair and dead skin and powder. And so I can tell it's almost time to change it. If I were like almost done with the service, I would probably finish up, you know, if I just had a few more sections to go. But since we're about a quarter of the way, a little bit over, done with the service, I'm gonna get new sugar to start in this section. All right, I'm gonna start in on this next section. Like I said, it's nice to kind of go out to where there's no hair so that when you pull past, you're not tangling it up into hair that isn't being removed. So I'm gonna come out this way just a little, press, drag past, flick hard, and then try and take some sting out. On this section too, I like to kind of clean up the line by just going straight across and defining where we're stopping. because you're not going to go all the way around, because then you're starting to include a stomach service into the service. So you'll just go about midway. Just going to clean up a few that got left behind. Rolling that ball out. I'm going to start by cleaning up this bottom section so that I have a clean working space behind the end of my strip. Pull tight behind. So now you have a clean patch here so that when you end your strip and you go to pull past, you're not pulling into hair and tangling that up. The hair right through here is very strong. So make sure you do a good job of tangling it up. If you don't go over your strip enough times, you're gonna have to go over the strip again because there'll be hair left behind. So it's best to just go ahead and get it in now while you're applying. Pull past, press your ball down, flick hard. And again. So see, there's like 2 little hairs. Clean those up real quick. Take some of the sting out. Coming back down. Making sure it's tangled in good. Sometimes you can like go like this and it'll suction the hair up into the sugar. If you have hair that's being stubborn, press your ball, drag past, flick hard, same thing. Good, I'm just gonna apply a little drying powder. Just gonna get this section here. Just gonna dig that in, nice even pressure all the way through your strip. Doing okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Tangling that hair in good, so our flick is really productive. Press your ball down, drag past, flick hard. Press, flick hard. And same thing to finish it. It's looking really good. You can see that clear mark or line of demarcation of where the hair stops. So again, I'm just going to clean up here so I have a clean working space behind my strip. Pull tight behind. And then work down into that bare spot so that you can pull past without tangling up into hair. Pull past, flick hard, drag, flick hard. All right, I'm just gonna start by cleaning up this area so we have a nice bare working spot behind our strip. Fixing up the ball at the end of each strip, pulling past, flick hard. Perfect. So I'm gonna come in and clean up this area. This is usually a little bit thicker as well, so it can be on the more painful side for your client. So just be mindful to check in on them. and commit to your pulls. And you can see those hair roots. That's what you want to see. This is also normal to see a little bit of pinpoint blood coming out of the follicle. It is completely normal, so don't be alarmed if you see that. Just make sure you dispose of anything properly that may come in contact with that area. And the sugar is going only on his body, so it's going in the waste after. So don't be alarmed if you get a little bit of it into your sugar. It is just a normal part of the process. So I'm just gonna clean off this bottom section so that when I create my strips, I have a clean working space behind. And right now I'm applying and removing perpendicular to the hair, which is totally fine. You just don't wanna pull against the hair, but perpendicular works for hair that's a little bit longer. Then I'm gonna work my way down into that clean spot with my new strip of sugar. The hair roots, and my sugar is getting to a consistency where it's not picking up the hair great anymore. I can tell it's almost at the end of its life. So when it's like that, I like to go in and see if there's any areas I need to clean up before I get new sugar. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get a new ball of sugar. So I got a new ball of sugar, and so I'm just gonna start on this new strip, working my way down into the bare spot that I created. Keep it together. Drag fast, flick hard. Because of the angle change of the hair growth here, I'm just gonna come up for this section. Press my ball. Those hair roots. Good ones. This is going to take a long time to grow back because we're removing it in the growth phase. It has a giant sleeve on it. That means it's growing. So if you were wanting to taper it down into the arm, you could just lightly go over and just start to remove a little bit so that it slowly kind of blends out and it doesn't have a harsh line. So see how I'm leaving some hair as it starts to go down? That's one way to kind of blend the arm down into a fully sugared back. Just wanted to show you that little trick. Always wear your hair up. I'm so sorry. Those roots. Okay. New fresh sugar. It's my favorite. I'm gonna tilt this way. All right. I think we got far enough around. We don't need it at the front. Okay, now that we're done with the back, I'm actually gonna cleanse his back with witch hazel just to get all of the sugar residue off and to cleanse the skin one more time before I put our Recover Soothing Gel on. So for an area this size, you're gonna get about that much of the Recover Soothing Gel and just apply it like lotion. Large areas like the back do have a tendency to have a breakout, especially if it is your client's first time getting the service done. So you can let them know that cleansing with witch hazel and gently exfoliating a few days after the service is recommended to avoid the breakout that could happen. It's not super common, but it can happen. So go ahead and reminding your client of those things is a good way for you to avoid having your client reach out to you and say, I have this issue, what's going on? So if you just go ahead and tell them that right out the gate, then they'll trust you a lot more with the service and with their results.